Hey Dreamers, I'm Joe Pardo, and this is the Dreamers Podcast. I'm so happy to have you here today. Matt, I'm happy to have you here today.
I'm happy to be here.
It's just there a lot of happiness all around. Of course, we're live streaming here on Facebook Live. I'm back to streaming on my own personal account, so it's facebook.com/Pardo Joe, I think. It's Pardo Joe. Yeah, Pardo is my public page, but Pardo Joe is my private. Pardo Joe is my private. But you can hit the follow button, or if we know each other, hit the friend button, and I'll accept your friend request. If not, it's all good either way. So this week we have an amazing guest, Matt. He's a rapper. He's a creative entrepreneur. He has a design company, and he's paralyzed from the neck down. So he has no use of anything but his neck and his head, and everything else is just there. So that's who I got. His name is Eric Patrick Thomas. He's a motivational speaker. He's an entrepreneur. He's friends with Damon John from Shark Tank, which is absolutely phenomenal. And he's so inspirational because even though he has a lot of things that hold him down and hold him back, he just keeps on, going through. And he's from Flint, Michigan, where the water is not so great. So again, another thing, doesn't let him hold him down, doesn't let him hold him back. He's a wonderful human being. I had a really nice long talk with him. So stay tuned after the pre-show here with me and Matt, because the interview will be on the back end of this after the jump. So, Matt, did you have a good week?
Yeah, I had a great week. Had a good time seeing you for the Give Kids the World.
Give Kids the World, yeah, man.
I wish I could have gotten here sooner, but
hey, it happens. I appreciate you showing up at all. It's especially after working late, like that's just awesome. And for anyone who doesn't know, it was the 2-year anniversary of this show. In fact, in the live chat on Facebook Live, Doc Kennedy, my man, out in Tacoma, Washington. Happy 2 years, Joe. Keep up the great work, my friend. Thank you, Doc. I really appreciate the work that Doc does, and the fact that he keeps the dream alive, regardless of what next steps he has to take. So shout out to Doc Kennedy. And it was 2 years of it's been 2 years of Dreamers Podcast. So we're going in, is this going into our third year?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 2 full years. So yeah, we're going into our third year, and so far no signs of no slowing down. For the 1 year anniversary, if anyone that doesn't know, we had a huge party here. We had like 20 some people at the house. We played games online, like we had a video stream, and we played games online for Give Kids the World. Every time somebody completed a minute to win a game, I donated I donated $10 for each game that was completed. So at the end of that night, we had raised over $600. Well, Rich Quick, this year, with Ava being here and all, we didn't get to have this big party here. But with Rich Quick over first, and then Matt came later, we were able to raise $500 so far, and I have people committed to donating more going forward for Give Kids the World. So we played minute to win it games. We had an amazing time. I don't have you can watch, I think the first 2 hours are recorded, the video, but I have all the audio. So I'm going to put the audio out on a separate episode of Dreamers Podcast, because it's 3 hours of audio. I don't want to tag it to this. I mean, but me and Matt are probably going to talk for an hour. My episode with my interview with Eric Patrick Thomas was, I think, like an hour and a half. And then you add an extra 3 hours on top. It's just too much. So I'll release that maybe next week or something like that as a separate episode, so you guys can listen to the hilarity and the awesomeness that happened. I made a bunch of announcements. Matt ate a dirty sandwich that had, it was a dirty peanut butter only sandwich. But he did it for charity. I donated $10 to Give Kids the World because of that. Raising $500 so far, and we're still taking donations. And if you want to, donate to Give Kids the World, if you want to show your support and love for what I do in this show, please go to Super Joe Pardo, matthewborelli.com/donate and click the support Joe button. They take donations as little as $1 and as much as you want to give. You know, isn't that the way most places? I think that's the way most places take it. But so it's a wonderful organization where if you don't know, kids with terminally ill, or not terminally ill, but life-threatening illnesses get to come down to Disney with their families. I got to learn more about the organization when a friend of the show, Beatrice Feeney, had mentioned like they have a shuttle or a person there actually with holding up their name when they get to the airport. So they get a car or a vehicle. They take them to their compound. I don't know. Compound sounds like a bad word. Is there a better word, Matt? Matt's my word guy. That's for sure.
Yeah, and you got me on the spot there. I don't know what you call it exactly, but what I was going to say though is, as far as people contributing and saying any amount, like even if everybody listening to the show just kicked in like $2, it would make a huge difference in this campaign. I mean, you don't have to give a lot. It's just it all adds up. Just a little bit. Skip a cup of coffee. Do something nice for these kids. They'll like it. You'll like it. Everybody's happy, and
everybody can win. And that's the thing, right? So they get tickets to Disney World. They get ice cream for breakfast. They have parties every night. Like they really do go out of their way. It's all volunteer based. So they have an amazing property. They have a property there with the houses and everything, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience for the kids to be able to go through. So they get to be kids, and for just a couple bucks you could donate. So superjoepardo.com/donate. I'll make sure that's in the show notes for anybody that's listening to this on Tuesday instead of Monday on Facebook Live. You should be watching on Facebook Live though. Admittedly, Matt and I still haven't gotten the time down. I wanted to do it in the morning, but it's already 3:14 Eastern Standard Time by the time we're recording this on Monday. So it's been crazy here, right? Like there's been so much going on. And did I mention that we're secured all the way through $1,000? Like I have people that are lined up that want to donate to go from the $500. I'm donating over $100 or so myself. Maybe probably a little bit over $100 at this point. And I have people that want to donate to get us to that $1,000 mark because I wanted the goal to be $1,000. Now, I know we ran into some problems. Like people couldn't get in the Blab session, so they couldn't do the video chat portion. We ended up mostly doing on Facebook Live. Like there was definitely some issues, but at the end of the day, we still raised $500 in 3 hours, and that's. I really couldn't ask for a whole lot more than that, than the awesomeness of some of these people that stepped forward to say, I'm going to donate more and make sure you get to that $1,000 mark. So that next year we raise the bar even higher.
But that's great. That's really touching. We're so thankful that people are willing to donate.
Yeah, definitely. It shows the support not just for me, for the organization, but for kids that are dealing with stuff that adults don't even want to deal with. Like nobody wants to deal with these problems, and to get enable them to be kids for a little while is magical in and of itself. So what else? Like so during for anybody who didn't watch it or listen to the 3-hour thing, there was a couple announcements that I made. I think I might have made that announcement before about the whole one of my next books is Sales Won't Save Your Business. I think we've talked about that on the show. I'm working on a party card game that enables like big groups of people, like 3 or more people, all the way up to I don't know, maybe even like 100 people if you wanted to play this game that enables you to act out scenes and have a lot of fun with it and get some spontaneity into it. Let's see. So, and then the final thing was that I did, if you didn't stick all the way to the end, my good friend Jeff Barnes, he wrote a book called The Wisdom of Walt. My other very good friend Al Kessel, who is the outro voice for this show, he's actually he narrated the audiobook for it. Jeff came to me and said, hey, I have a lot of people asking for a kid's version of Wisdom of Walt, and I would be honored if you would co-author it with me. And Yeah, so it's absolutely an honor. I'm super happy. It's a project that I'm really looking forward to adding it to the fold of what I do. Not just because I love kids and working with kids and writing and stuff like that, but we're actively working on getting this to be a published book. So then I would go from self-published author Joe Pardo to published Joe Pardo, published author Joe Pardo. And on top of that, we would be working towards getting that published book sold into the Disney parks, which would be amazing. I don't know any other way to put it. Amazing, like fabulous, amazing, or I don't know. So yeah, those were the three big things that I announced. Rich Quick had a bunch of updates on what he's been working on. He just got back from Europe, which was cool. Touring his second tour of Europe, actually headlining through the UK. So that was awesome. It was just a really wonderful time. I've had a great time doing it, and for being mostly for the first hour or so, just two people doing it. We had already raised like over $100 some, just two people in a room here in my studio. So also with the Facebook Live, I'm using a different lens this time. So I'm using the fisheye lens. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, it looks kind of funky and looks a little like the colors don't look as sharp and stuff like that. But I thought it was nice because you could see more of the background of what's going on in the studio behind me. Not that there's people working or anything. It's literally like an elliptical, but all the stuff on the walls and stuff like that I thought was pretty cool to add to the depth of the image, the image of this. So let's see. This week, I had somebody contact me. So did I tell you about the entrepreneur.com article, Matt?
No.
Okay, so last week, I guess it was after I had seen you on Monday. Or no, I didn't even see you on Monday. No, I didn't, because we went to the Franklin Institute on Monday. To go to the Pixar thing, which it was a little disappointing because we thought there'd be more statuettes to stand up next to, and there wasn't. It was a lot of ooh, play with this thing or play with these building blocks thing, and this is how we make the art. And it was interesting. It was definitely interesting, but not for $35.
Yeah, you never know.
And it was short.
With this type of exhibits, the way you described it, obviously is geared more towards children, where I once went to a Jim Henson exhibit that there was no hands-on. It was okay, here's the puppets. They're inside a glass case. You can look at it. No touching anything.
No touchy.
And just a lot of reading. And for me, it was very interesting. And plus, to see oh, here's the actual Bert and Ernie puppet, and oh man, it seems they're so much bigger than they look on TV. But I saw a lot of kids walk around are we done here yet?
What? This is boring. Yeah, no, I agree.
What's that?
Dark Crystal. Well, I met one of the guys that worked on Dark Crystal with my friend Kathleen Kelly when we went to Chiller Theater, and I don't know which puppet it is, but I think it was one of the bad guys, the king or something, who had a big sword. Mm-hmm. He was they actually had that puppet there, and we for a couple bucks you could take a picture, get behind the velvet rope and take a picture with it, and a couple different poses and hold the sword and stuff like that. So that was pretty neat. But yeah, so anyway, my good friend, got to give a shout out always, and a lot of love to my man, Kimanzi Constable. So a while back, my book ended up on a list of 6 books, 6 books that, and I got to get good at my counting, because when Ava starts counting, I gotta know how to rattle the stuff off, regardless of how little sleep I get or how little good sleep I get. So he wrote a list of 6 books about how he found 6 books that will help change your mindset for business, to help grow your business. And he was so gracious to put my book number 2 on that list. Super thankful for that. And it was on the Huffington Post. Hey, that's cool, it doesn't get much better than that. And then, a few months went by, and he sent, when I was at that exhibit on Monday, the Pixar exhibit, he sent me a message and he said, hey, check this out. And it was on entrepreneur.com. Then the very next day, he sent me another message and said, hey, it got picked up from entrepreneur.com to foxnews.com. And I was like, whoa, like, this is amazing. Like, I can't thank you enough. Like, how amazing is that, right? Turns out that like 2 days later, the entrepreneur.com article had been shared like 3,700 times the last I checked. Somebody reached out to me on Friday, right before, like 2 hours before the live show that we went live here. And I think I mentioned this, or maybe I didn't mention it on the live show. Anyway, somebody reached out via email about asking if I could come and speak to an all-female entrepreneur summit out in Cleveland, Ohio, in I think it was October or September, something like that. And anyway, I was ecstatic. Like, yeah. So not only did my book, get in front of a large audience, and actually I've had quite a few sales since that article went live on entrepreneur.com and foxnews.com. But and the sales of the books are nice, like that's awesome. I'm happy and all that. But what I'm really excited about is like that somebody actually thought enough of what I do to reach out and say, hey, Joe, I love what you do. I really want to have you come out to Cleveland and speak to these female entrepreneurs. So I called her right away, obviously. Mm-hmm. Well, she didn't answer the phone, so she got back to me like, I don't know, a half hour later or something like that, because she was on the phone with other people that she reached out to. Right. And anyway, so I was like, okay, we went through all the things that I could talk about, whether it was like, how to build your business. Because she was saying that there's a lot of different attendees, right? There's people that are just getting started in their business or want to get started in a business. And then there's people who are veterans. And she wasn't sure whether or not I would be good for which one I'd be good for to talk to. So I was like, okay, I think I could do either. And I pitched two, and she's like, okay, well, if you email them to me, we're going to go over them on Tuesday. So I sent the email, and I haven't heard back yet because it's not Tuesday yet. We'll find out tomorrow, hopefully, knock on wood. Hopefully I'll get you getting an email saying, hey, we want to have you. Can you send us over a contract, and let's shore it up and make it happen.
You're going to do both.
But who knows? Maybe I will do both. I'd be happy to do both. One on how to dream big and win, and one on how sales won't save your business. It'd be great, to have that feedback that could go into the book that I'm writing, right? So like that's the thing. And she really resonated with the sales won't save your business. In fact, I was out at dinner on Monday night, and somebody heard me talking about that book from across the table. Like, we were like 5 people down, and at the end of the night, she came over. She's like, "Oh, hi, I'm so and so. I heard you. You caught my ear when you said sales won't save your business, and that's the name of your new book." She's like, "I can get your card talk because I want to find out more about that because it sounds really interesting because I deal with some of that same issues with my clients who think that they could just sell their way out of issues." This is like, yeah, and you can. Sales are important. Don't get me wrong. But they won't. At the end of the day, it won't save your business. And there's ways to save money and save your business without stepping on people's toes, customers and employees. Mm-hmm. So it's things that I've learned, especially because I've done it. Things that you can do to not make the mistakes that I made along the way. That's for sure. So that happened, and that was really, it's really exciting. And that's one of those things I want to bring up. Like, we run through, like, and most people who are entrepreneurs or dreamers or something like that, like, we run through these cycles of, like, man, like, boom, 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 everything's happening once, and then next thing, nothing's happening, and it's like, whoa, like, why is there such a radical shift? Like, like those things happen, and I'm excited for them, but I don't want to get too excited. I don't want to get too excited because what if it's the only thing that happens for like the next 2 weeks, and then I'll end up like rebounding from like super happy to like, man, everything was happening, now all of a sudden nothing's happening.
Well, you can't expect something to drop into your lap every single day, but regardless,
some people do. And some people have it happen every single day, opportunities knocking all the time. You just got to be listening.
That's part of the thing. But you're making an effort constantly to go out and make yourself available. And say, hey, here I am. I got a message. I'm over here. Listen to me. So people are not going to be able to respond to you. You're not going to get those opportunities if they don't know, hey, Joe Pardo's available. It's just like, I need somebody for this conference. We don't know to call Joe. Nobody's going to call Joe. I mean, yeah, you might get lucky and somebody will, through a network, somebody will mention you or, again, networking's important, but I wouldn't, it's not a passive thing, so I guess I'm getting at. You can't just sit there and like, okay, I got this great profile online, I got all these contacts set up, I got my Facebook page, I'm just going to sit back and let the offers roll in. It's not going to happen. You always got to be working.
I turned the open sign on. Why didn't anybody, I put my website up, why didn't anybody come and find it?
You got to be hungry, you always got to be pushing, always looking for the next gig, the next sale, and, when something just kind of falls in your lap, it's like icing on top of the cake. Okay, great, awesome, love it, but it's not the norm. And you can't just, sit back and wait for somebody else to do things
to notice. Right. Well, sometimes, like I pointed out, like sometimes you need the right people to notice, right? Like you could have 10 people in a room, but if one of those 10 people is somebody that's like, I'm actively looking for a speaker, or oh my God, this person is great, I'm going to hook them up with somebody. And next thing you know, like it all just works out. Because the other thing that happened was this lady Dana called me out of the blue, and I've only met her. I think I've met her twice. Anyway, she reached out and was like, "Hey, I reached out to the people at my hospitals at my hospital because they're always looking for speakers." And she's like, "You would make a great fit for their speakers." So for the people they're looking for, and they were really excited about everything I was telling them about you and the information that I put forward. So she's like, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Don't be surprised when you get a phone call of people, somebody asking you information and they want you at this hospital to come and speak. So it's like, and not just speak to like, if it's not just patients, but like employees and doctors and all that stuff. Like there's lots of things. So the opportunity is there. And the thing is, and I wrote about this on Facebook about like not being afraid to answer the phone, even if it's a number I don't recognize. Because I don't know, maybe they're not going to leave a message. All right, 9 times out of 10, it's probably like, hey, your business has been pre-approved for like a $50,000 loan, or your house, your student loans can be absolved, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, well, I don't have any student loans, and technically I don't have a business, so I don't know why you're calling me in the first place. But whatever. So I hang up. But in this case, it was somebody who I, have gotten to meet and know a little bit about. And I got to know better because I answered the phone. I answered the opportunity when it presented itself.
No, exactly. And like I said, you're following up on leads. And again, you've got this good network you continue to build on. Because I'm going to go out on a limb and say hospitals aren't something you considered like, oh, man, I should be pitching to hospitals. It's like, but now it's like, oh, wait, I could go to hospitals? Like, that opens up a whole other
It does. It really does. I had no idea. In fact, I have some friends that work at hospitals, and now I'm going to reach out to them and say, "Hey, you need to make sure that they know about me, and if they like what I do, I can go and help them, on leadership stuff and leadership stuff." That sounds so official.
It's not something you would tend to think of as a business, but a hospital, like it is. It has to make money.
Right.
It's not. It's not something. It's a great service. It's a necessary service, but at the end of the day, money.
It's all about the money. Yeah.
So.
So like something else that happened this week. Well, actually, I got to talk about Zootopia because I finally saw it the other night, and I gotta say it was really, really good.
Yeah,
they did a really great job. I felt like, I don't know how you feel, Matt, but I felt like some of the words that they chose to use I thought were a bit odd because of the target market of kids.
Words that kids were like too
like that maybe too big or too I think it was a really ambitious film for like trying to explain like racism and like a whole lot of social things, and yet still had scandal in it. Honestly, I didn't really see coming personally, but I was also trying to balance Ava at the time, like
Right.
trying to keep her good, so and shushing in her ear. So maybe I would have seen it if I was just like, and I wasn't so tired when I watched it.
It certainly covered a lot of topics. I don't remember anything where I felt that it was over kids' heads. If anything, I felt that it was very well pitched. It's without being preachy. It's like, okay, here's some positive points we're going to get across, but we're not like beating you over the head with it at the same time. And also, there was like certain scenes, and I tell you about the one in particular. I don't want to give anything away, but where I was like, man, that was just a really well acted scene, just on the voice work alone. Because again, you're looking at two animated characters, and
Right, they don't see that
right,
like
it's hard
necessarily.
to you don't have like
Depending,
those human subtleties, but just in the voice, I was like, man, if I wasn't watching this and I was just overhearing this, I would just imagine like this could be, like two live actors or two live people doing this. Like it was just so well crafted, and
right.
I was like, man, it was much better than I expected.
Yeah, no, it was really.
I say that only because I tend to be very cynical when I go to movies, and I guess
You are a pretty cynical person.
I'm Debbie Downer of the movie industry, but
Yeah, you are.
so, but hey, I mean, I think of that as a higher vote of confidence for the movie. If I liked it, I guarantee you somebody's going to find something that they can enjoy. It was a solid movie, well done, and yeah, I really don't have any critiques for it. So.
Well, no, I'd agree. I think it was solid and definitely. I thought that one the weasel was Steve Buscemi. It sounded very close to his voice, but it was not.
Actually, it's funny. I went on IMDb at the end because there's a lot of actors or voice actors like everybody sounded like somebody else, and there's quite a few I was wrong on because. Again, I knew of the movie, but I didn't have like any interest in seeing it until my sister was like, "Oh, I should go take me, take my niece. She wants to go see it." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And then I wound up, pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Amanda in the live Facebook Live was saying that her 4-year-old loved it, and as she grows, she will get more and more out of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely will grow with kids. I just wasn't sure, like, and there was only a couple things that I thought was like, I was like that might be it's central to the movie, but maybe a little bit too over the heads of some of the kids, and hopefully it doesn't get like everything doesn't. There isn't a disconnect, but hey, they're cute and furry animals, and we all love them. And I just thought, of course, I don't know if you noticed, but John Lasseter was the producer, the executive producer of it. Which, if you don't know, he does like everything at Pixar. He's like, I think is he the president? I think he's the president of Pixar at this point, or has been the president of Pixar, something like that. So it was really cool. They definitely hit a home run with that movie. I'm hoping that they, that they capitalize on it for like, because it seems like some of the newer movies they haven't really capitalized on outside of Frozen. Hasn't had the same.
Impact?
No, not impact. Well, impact as far as like toy sales go.
Oh.
Like how many toys they make. Like I still want like my Mr. Fredricksen that I'm never gonna get. Like a little Mr. Fredricksen doll. Now I have a kid Mr. Fredricksen that a friend of mine made. She crocheted it, but it's not. It's not. It's awesome, but it's not the same. So it's all good though. So all right. So the other topic I wanted to talk about was about believing in yourself, and so something happened. I'm not going to get into the super specifics of it, but basically, I want you to realize that what you believe in and your core values, right? Like you need to figure out what those are, so that you can figure out the value of what it is that is inside of you, so that you don't compromise it, right? Like even if there's peer pressure to do something else or to do something, and it might not even be negative peer pressure, right? Like that's the thing. So just because it's peer pressure doesn't mean that it has to be like people are bullying you into doing something. But the peer, I think, because I feel like peer pressure does kind of get a negative connotation to it because of the fact that it just sounds like, oh well, it's denoting that you should go do something bad, or that you shouldn't be, something you shouldn't be doing. But that's not the case, right? So it's up to you to decide what's right for you. And well, sometimes it is bad. It's important for you to know what boundaries you have, and that's what I was saying about like the values and all that, so that you don't demote yourself, or you don't take yourself down a notch to the point where it's like you're compromising what you really, what's right to you. Because what's right for you isn't necessarily right for everybody else, regardless of how much you want to believe it is. It's not necessarily that way. And it's really, really important that you know what your boundaries are, what you want and what you want to do and how you want to do it. And to me, like, when I actually ended up giving a little bit of and I wish I could have recorded it, or I wish somebody would have, like, whipped out their phone. Because in my mind, it sounded like this, stand up and be heard kind of moment. But and maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know what impact I gave to those people that I was talking to. But it's not worth compromising yourself for what somebody else wants you to do. And I was pretty close to doing that. And I was like, why? And then I stopped and thought to myself, like, well, I don't usually give in to peer pressure. It's not something that I like to give into. In fact, I usually rage against the peer pressure, to borrow a band name for a phrase. And I was pretty close, but you know what? Before I made a final decision, or before it was too late to make that decision, I was like, I'm not going to do this. And here's why. I don't want to compromise myself. I don't feel that I should start compromising myself now. And I didn't get to where I'm at now, even though, like, let's face it, I'm not like crazy, on that path. Like, I'm not at the moon yet. Like, I'm on the way to the moon. Like, we've been ready for launch. We're launched, going towards the moon. I didn't get to where I'm at by compromising myself, and what I feel is right, and what I feel is the right moves that I should be making. So, and part of it is also doing the right thing when no one's looking. That to me is another part of it, right? Because, like, the peer pressure, it's like, okay, well, I could do this, and maybe only like 2 or 3 people would ever know. But the thing is, I would know, and that's enough, right? Like, I need to know that I'm going to do the right thing, regardless of if it ever gets, and feel and not feel ashamed about it that I compromised myself after the fact. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of rambling on a little bit because I was trying to, I'm so tired.
You touched on a lot of topics there, and I guess 2 takeaways, to kind of reiterate what you're saying is, one, it's important to have core values, core beliefs that are effectively set in stone. In other words, that you have to know, okay, here's where I draw the line. I have to enforce that. And, it's easy to go in there and be the flexible guy or the flexible girl, like, oh, okay, whatever you want to do. But people will respect you more if you have a strong opinion. It doesn't have to be their opinion. I mean, it could be completely different, but they'll respect the fact that you have an opinion and you stick by it. I mean, if you just come off or allow yourself to be manipulated by people, or just kind of go along with the flow every single time, people aren't going to respect you as much. They're not going to go to you for information. They're not going to go to you for advice, because it's like, well, he or she is just going to go along with whatever I say. They don't, you become less meaningful as a person. And again, it doesn't have to be, it could be any kind of belief. It could be religious, political, personal. It's something that you feel strongly about, and then, again, the same topic, you have your boundaries. As you said, you have these certain things that, you're not going to compromise on for anybody, because, once you put that chink in your armor, it becomes really easy to just, like, again, I don't want to, I keep using the word manipulation, but to kind of...
Why not keep making those compromises?
Right.
Why stop there?
It becomes easier to compromise and to sit there and stick to your guns.
Right.
So, you did the right thing. I mean, again, I'm sure whatever happened might not have been the popular opinion, but at least it's your opinion, and I respect the fact that you spoke up.
Man, I'm not used to being of the popular opinion. like I'm used to not being in that. It's not
But
used,
it's not like everybody comes like, oh, we hate Joe because he's the guy with the opinion. It's like, no, people know Joe partly because Joe's the guy that has a differing opinion. It's like, that's interesting. Here's a guy that has a belief in something, can back it up, will talk about it, is knowledgeable. Maybe I want to listen to him. Yeah, I still might think he's completely off base at the end of the day, but at least I respect his opinion. At least I respect him enough as a person to listen to what he has to say, and not just like talk over him the entire time.
Well, RESPCT, that's all we want out of life,
like,
right? So,
oh, come on, just, or the peer pressure, like, come on, just go. Come on, don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's cool. You're good. Everything's fine here. No.
Right, and it's, well, you know what the thing is I was talking about this on a road trip to somewhere I was going with some people, and we've talked about this, the whole idea of like you have to be extreme. You have to be on like one of the opposite end of extreme for people to take notice, or because if you're in the middle, you just kind of get like washed out and like nobody cares. So what I was thinking was, and I didn't think about this till after the fact, was my view of what we were talking about was kind of extreme, right? Even though I'm not judging other people for what they want to do or how they want to go about doing it, and that's them, like that's on them. But to me, like what I believe and what I want to do is that's fine. Like I'm not trying to push that on anybody else, and
right.
And I think that's where to me, like that's where the line. Like the other side of the extreme is like, well, if you're trying to push it on everybody, well, then that makes it difficult because then people might not like. Not only do you have an extreme opinion, but you have an extreme way of announcing that opinion to everybody.
The thing is, if you're confident in what you believe, then you don't need to have everybody else in the room agree with you.
That's true.
You know enough to say, you know what, here's what I believe. People will listen to what I have to say, and they can make their own decisions. You don't have to be... Again, you don't always have to go with the flow. You don't have to be like the most liked person, the most popular person in the room. And yeah, having an extreme opinion is important because it's what sets you apart from everybody else that's in the middle of the road. And like, what does Jeff think? What does Joe think? Oh, Joe, he's that guy I told you Joe about this.
Wait, but there was that movie, the Lego movie. Like that was the Lego movie, right? We basically just explained the Lego movie.
Just explain the plot of the Lego movie.
Yeah, it is. Don't you have to be you don't have to be extreme, but you have to be extreme in some way or form about something. Have that opinion, or else nobody cares. Nobody was going to want to follow that or listen to you or go to you for advice or take you seriously.
I mean, honestly, it sets you apart. I'm not saying you have to be like the alpha dog the entire time, but at least have an opinion.
Well, the alpha dog would have been like, no one, I'm not doing it, no one can do it, and that's the way it is.
And that's the opposite end of the spectrum. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm not talking about sitting there and berating people and, browbeating them down until they finally come to, your conclusion, but just have an opinion, stick to it, and people will gravitate towards that. They want somebody that's opinionated. They want somebody that actually is willing to speak up for themselves. And, because everybody wants to learn something. And if you know what you're talking about and you have something that you're passionate about, it's going to be interesting to people. It could be anything. You can talk about anything, but if you're passionate about it, immediately people will start to tune into that.
Right. So I finally did escape the room for the first time.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, and we did the dig. We got there about me and Melissa got there about 15 minutes late. First of all, I don't really care. Like I love Philly, but I also don't like parking in Philly because not only it's usually expensive or it's hard. It's one or the other two. Like finding the parking is hard.
Yeah, it's one of the things I've heard about going to Philadelphia. I mean, I will sometimes, actually more often than sometimes, I will take the bus or the train because I just don't want to deal with parking. I'd rather just walk a couple blocks and just know, you know what, I can pick up and go. I'm not going to sit there and wonder which of the two signs is correct. Am I safe here? For some reason nobody else in Philly is parked in this spot.
Yeah.
I got towed once, and that was enough for me. Like I learned my lesson. Several $100s later to get my car back.
Well, being towed is always my fear. Okay, if I get an extra $30 bill or whatever, like that's it's whatever, $50 ticket, like
right,
like it sucks, but it is what it is, and at least I can go home. I can still go home and be where I need to be when I need to be there. It's when you get towed. I mean, you after listening to your experience with that,
my car had been stolen. I'm like,
I would be my first thought.
Like, oh man, then I find a police officer and he's like, oh, you just missed it, they just towed your car. Like, you gotta be kidding me. So like, here we are, now what? Okay, there goes the rest of the
And it's late too, right?
Late.
Like it's not. This isn't like first like, oh, it's like 4:00 in the afternoon.
I just got done having a nice dinner, and and it's like, all right, now I'm scrambling to find a taxi to get down to get my car back.
Well, now we have Uber, so that's at least that part of the story can change,
Sure.
so make it a little bit easier. But yeah, so so anyway, we got there like 15 minutes late, Melissa and I, and we were with a group of 10 people, and it was a neat experience. But the thing was I was too tired to. Like I feel like I'm really tired. Like I want to take a nap like right after this recording. But the thing is I was too tired to really be useful through much of it. And then the other thing was, since we got there late, we missed things in the beginning, like from all the clues and everything that, because it kind of all like builds up right over the course of the experience, and we missed like the first. It's like 15 minutes of it, so it really hurt. I feel like us, but also having 10 people there, having 10 different personalities, but it helped because we did finish. We finished in like 53 minutes, which was cool. Apparently, we're in the 20% of people that can finish this thing, and that's fine. I guess basically our friend and former episode guest on the show, Paul, he pretty much like shouldered majority of the responsibilities to figure his way out through the room. And I don't know if I mentioned, we did the dig, which was the type of experience, which is, again, it was really neat. So from like a business point of view, right? Afterwards, well, first off, they had no sign out in front of the building in Philly.
Yes.
There's no sign. You literally have to walk up to what looks like a hotel type thing. Walk in. The only good thing was that the address is nice and big across the top of the doors, so it's like you can't miss that part of it. But when you're walking in, there's no signage. There's a sign on the outside. There's no sign on the inside. So you're walking in, and you're like, there's a guy sitting at a desk, and you're like, oh, we're here for escape the room, and he's like, oh, just go down the stairs. And it's like, you know how many times the guy probably has to answer that question every single day?
You described my exact experience at the same location, and it was a lot of fun. The people were great, but you're right. If I was walking by on the street, I would just think, hey, here's some hotel in the middle of Philly. Like, there's no signage, no nothing to let you know, hey, there's this cool thing here, come check it out. So unless you happen to stumble across it on like Facebook or Groupon or something, you would have no idea.
Well, we'll get to that, because when we were driving actually to find parking, which was a whole thing, which is partially why we were late. There was actually an amazing escape the room that actually had like a sign out front that's like pointing at like this little door, it's sandwiched between two commercial building or
right.
two stores. So like I was like, oh, well, I wonder if that's it. I was like, maybe people just drop off the amazing part and call it escape the room. Makes sense to me, but I was like, but that's not the right address. I was like, well, it's not even the right street, so that can't be right. So the thing that I thought was interesting was after the fact, after we got through the experience, they walk you through all the clues and everything that they gave, and the whole experience, and explain why we figured some things out super fast and why some things took a lot longer, and how some people end up getting trapped or end up trapped in the room.
It can be frustrating. I mean, unless you're somebody that actually actively enjoys puzzles and it's like something you're I should say passionate about, but you've had some kind of interest in the past, it can be very overwhelming to walk in there, and also it's like, I have no idea. Like, I'm in a room. What the hell am I supposed to be doing? I don't know. These are just commonality objects. Is there, I'm confused. But they do lead you along. If they see you're really struggling, they'll give you a couple of hints, and the hints will get more and more detailed as.
Well, he was saying that some of the detailed though.
It's like if you're really hurting. Like they had a couple times they broke it. You're like, okay, guys, look. That thing you've been doing for the past 20 minutes, stop. It has nothing to do with what you're looking at. You're just wasting time. Because again, but that's part of the experience. Is like it's a mystery, and like you saw in your case, Paul who's really good at it, and that's great.
Yeah, well, he's good at stuff like that. Like he really can put his mind to those things, and not that I can't, but it's just tough when like I'm looking at it like the puzzle from the side. I'm looking at it upside down. I'm looking like it's so hard to it's so hard to like be able to solve puzzles. A, when you're tired. B, when you got there late, so you're not like up to speed like from the beginning, because they kept going back. Like, well, remember in the beginning when blah 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 happened? I'm like, I wasn't here, so I don't know. And now I'm looking at it upside down. I'm tired, and there's 10 other people shouting out like potential answers to things.
Also, and a lot of times you don't even know what the puzzle is. It's just like, here's a room full of everyday objects. I don't know which one I'm actually supposed to be interacting with. I mean, there's a lot of red herrings. So part of the challenge is just to determine what is actually relevant to getting out of here, or what is just here for
Well, that's where the clues really come in and help. But so from a business point of view, right? Because like here on Jerry's podcast, it's a cool experience. I liked it. It was expensive for the fact that I was mostly a spectator in this event. It was a $30 spectating sport for me and Melissa. But for the most part, we each contributed like a little bit. But my point was that afterwards they went through everything, and then they were like, hey, we're gonna take a picture of everybody so you can commemorate this awesome event. And they were like, here, pass this paper around. Everybody put their names down and their email addresses. So now they just had like a mass email collection of like 8 of the 10 people that were there, right? Which is awesome for them. If you're a business and you're trying to collect emails, like they do a really good job of that. So then we go out, we take the picture, and it's a funny picture and all that. So like, okay, cool. So now if you want this picture, we're gonna email it to you. So today, like one day later, I get the email, and and basically the picture isn't in the email. They have like some kind of puzzle or something in it that's from like 100-year-old puzzle that you can print out and do on your own. But it says, hey, if you want the picture, go to our Facebook page, because that's where we're posting all the pictures. And I'm like, man, not only did they find a clever way to get people to give them their email addresses, they also found a clever way to get people to go to their Facebook page and potentially like their Facebook page. I was like, that's pretty clever. Now, where they dropped the ball was when I clicked on the Facebook link, it was for Facebook Texas, not Facebook Texas. It was for Escape the Room Texas, not Escape the Room Philly. And I was like, oh, they were so close. Yep. They were so close. Now, but at the same time, maybe it was intentional. Maybe now I'm going to be like, oh, let me type in Escape the Room Philly to go find my picture. And while I'm there, I'm invested in it more so than just a link click. Now I'm going to click on the like button, because why not? I had a good time and I want to support them.
Yeah, and like you said before, it's a clever way of doing things. Like if you went to an amusement park, you took your picture, or they took your picture on a roller coaster, you could just get off the coaster, buy the picture, bam, done. Here, it's like, we can't just give it to you until you give us some more information. So you're right. It's like, bam, email address. You're going to come to our Facebook page. You're going to like it. It's like...
And you might even tag yourself in it, or someone might, your friends might tag you in it.
And then your friends are going to see it on their feed. I'm like, oh, what's this Escape the Room?
Yeah. It was very clever. Yeah. Very, very clever. I gotta hand it to them. I mean, again, the Facebook link sent me to the Texas one, but maybe, just maybe, that's intentional because they want people to like make that jump into, okay, now I'm gonna Google Escape the Room Philly.
I feel you're overthinking that. I believe that's just like an honest mistake, because for most people probably wouldn't want to take that extra step.
No, they wouldn't. But the ones that do are probably the ones that are also going to go tagging the picture with all their friends in it.
True.
So it's like, yeah, you're not going to get everyone, but in the meantime, you still have all the email addresses, and email is the best way for marketing. More so than Facebook or anything like that for direct marketing, because Facebook could go away tomorrow, Instagram could go away tomorrow, but the email address isn't going to go away tomorrow unless they change it. So that's my point. Like, everything is supposed to work in like funnels, right? So like you have everybody that shows up at Escape the Room, whether they paid or a friend paid for them or whatever. They're there. Now you collected their, they had a good time. They want the picture, so they're going to give you their email address. Now you take all the people that gave you the email address and you start at the next funnel at the top, right? So now you have all these email addresses and you're funneling them down to how many people click the Facebook link. Now, that's great, except for the fact that it doesn't help if they don't take that next step and click the like button. Now you get the ones that the like button. But the thing is that since it sent me to the wrong one, it's kind of like they diverted it. So it's like people that click the link and find out. Okay, so now they got all the people that clicked the link and found out that it's the wrong Facebook page. It's the Texas, not the Philly. Okay, so now we have to get that jump to get those people to the very bottom of the funnel. Maybe only 10% of those people do it. Now they're already invested in you see how much they've already invested to it?
It still sounds to me like you're trying to justify
why they made a mistake.
Like
but there was another mistake in the email, right? So they put a thank you, but there's a 1 instead of an exclamation point at the end of the thank you. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the whole email is a puzzle. Remember, they're trying to cater to people who are into puzzles and investigative type people who want to figure things out. So, I know it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, but from a marketing standpoint, it might actually be working for them.
Well, now you touched on an interesting idea there, in that they could use email to yeah, they did. They put in a simple puzzle there, but they can even put on some other mysterious link or something. It's like, take, you've seen some of the marketing campaigns for. Okay, here's one, a video game campaign. Halo was the I Love Bees campaign. These viral websites you can go to and seem to have nothing to do with anything, but then people will just all get together on the internet to try and figure out, okay, what's the mystery? What is the big announcement? So, you're almost doing the marketing work for them.
No, but think about all right. So I just while you were talking, I went to the Facebook page for the Escape the Room Philly, and it has 14,000 likes on it. In fact, I have 13 friends that like it, that like the page. So I'm saying, what I'm saying is I think that it's actually that. I don't think that's a mistake. Now, I didn't actually read the email, right? But how many people, it's a bunch of text. I'm not going to read that, but maybe somebody would. So my point is that maybe they're just testing that out. Send the wrong email.
Typing with one hand and twittering on their phone with the other.
I don't think so, Matt. I really don't think so. So we've posted the photos to Facebook. Make sure that you check yourselves out for the winners and the loser circle. If you don't see your photo, just be sure to check the game folder. Finally, we'll leave you with a neat puzzle. Yeah, no, there's only one Facebook link, and this probably came from a generic. No, well, it's not that generic. It's escapetheroomphilly.com. So maybe the person that created it did do it wrong. All right, here's a TripAdvisor review. Let's see. Okay, maybe somebody did do it wrong, because this TripAdvisor does take you to the Escape the Room Texas. So maybe it is just a mistake that they did both, or maybe they want people to be invested.
Look, I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
I mean, maybe. I don't know, because I wasn't there. I mean, I was there, but I don't know. So I'm going to buy into it. I'm going to click the like button just because I've had to Google it, or not Google it, but search it on Facebook. Because I'm invested. They found invested people that out of these emails that they're sending. So, and then they can market to those people through Facebook. They have their email addresses, so they can market through that. And there's a lot of things that they can do. And that's a whole rabbit hole, obviously. But I just wanted to point out the fact that it's something like that is it's so simple, yet whoever thought it up was whoever they stole it from, because I'm sure it was probably utilized somewhere else, or at least inspired from something else.
I would probably say borrowed, but yeah.
Borrowed, still, whatever. It's a really neat idea that somebody was like, I'm going to do this, and then they put the wrong links in for both. And you know what? Doesn't matter, because I just Googled both of them because I was curious. I'm an invested person, so I want to know. Now, how many people are invested? I don't know. If everybody had a good time, then you only need 1 out of 10 of those people to be invested, and then they'll start tagging their friends in that picture. And before you know it, everybody that was there, that was tagged in that photo, will probably go and click on that photo and maybe even like the page. So That's the thing. You know, because otherwise, if they sent you to the right one, you might not, you wouldn't be invested enough to go find your picture. It's only because it's like, oh, this is the wrong, this is the wrong Facebook page.
Again, it's an interesting theory. I still believe it was a mistake, but...
And it's hard to test, right? Like, I can't prove it with my own stuff necessarily because I don't have this product that everybody just paid $30 to come hang out and do, experience.
But nonetheless, I mean, I could see where you could take that type of idea. It's like, okay, here's, like you just want to go to the Facebook picture, but here's this other obscure link that seems to be broken. Huh? Let me like analyze the link. Oh, I see it. It's got some extra characters on it. Take it off. I'm like, oh, here's this hidden Facebook page. Or,
maybe
whatever.
that's possible.
Here's a puzzle. Like, what's this? All right, let me investigate a little bit further. It's with marketing, you want to get people's attention. Like, what's the most popular commercials? Super Bowl, right? Super Bowl commercials are the ones everybody looks forward to.
Yeah.
Because they put more time and effort into them.
Super undervalued, by the way.
It's like,
they are super undervalued. They should be charging twice what they charge.
It's the only time I watch a commercial throughout the year, I'm like, okay, that was actually funny. And does it even buy the product? Me personally, no, but I remember it. I'll probably go watch it again. So it's effective and it has longevity.
Well, one thing, what was it? That they were like, somebody I was listening to was like, no one's going to run around and be like, Matt, that Coca-Cola I just had was amazing. And I'm not talking like some special Coca-Cola, like just Coke, like just the plain Coke. But the thing is that's why they spend so much money on advertising, so that everywhere you look, that's where you see the Coca-Cola symbol or the commercial or this or that, because they have to, because no one's going to drink Coca-Cola and be like, I gotta share this with the world. It's gonna be amazing. But like, look at like last year, was it the share Coke campaign? I mean, that was a great campaign. For the fact that every time that somebody got something it says Matt's name, I gotta send it to Matt. Now all of a sudden I'm marketing to you for Coca-Cola, and all it took them was to put the name Matt on a can. That's it. That's all it took them. Was just like, let's take the top 100 names or groups of people and put them on a can, and boom, all of a sudden everyone becomes a marketer for Coca-Cola. It's amazing.
Yeah, you got a point there, because somebody actually did text me a picture of a Coke bottle with my name on it. I wasn't really sure how to respond. I was like, okay.
Like, thank you, I think.
That's interesting, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But did it get me a drink of Coke? No, but...
But you don't know that it didn't. I mean, you were here earlier and you drank some Coke.
I drank that Coke because that's what was there. Now, if the Coke had been next to a Pepsi... Then
there was Pepsi in the fridge.
Oh, so maybe it did work.
But it wasn't out, right? So like you.
But I didn't go looking for it either. I'm like, oh, there's that Coke that I love so much because that's my name on it. So let me just drink this. I'm not even gonna entertain the idea there could be Pepsi somewhere else in the house, like possibly 3 feet away in the fridge. It's like no.
Well, true. All right, so Escape the Room. It's awesome. You should go do it, and just recognize that they're really, really good about their marketing. Like, really good about their marketing.
As far as that goes, if you haven't done it, I would recommend it. I had a great time. Just get a bunch of people together. People that you don't have to be great puzzle solvers, but if you get enough people together, somebody in there will be able to figure it out. just gotta play the odds.
So, so the other thing that happened, we're getting up on an hour here, so I don't want to go too much longer, but because I also have to eat dinner and go to a meeting for Toastmasters tonight, apparently I need to hold Ava for a minute here.
If you want to have dinner.
Oh, if I want to have dinner, apparently I need to hold Ava. That's okay, that's a fair trade-off. She looks like she's ready to be held. She just needs to have that bib on. Did she just eat? Mm-hmm. And we're doing this live. I'm not even cutting this. Okay, so this is how like life goes when we have babies in his house. His house, is that a thing still? Oh no, we're crying. Okay, so this week, she might need to be burped. All right, so this week when I went out to dinner over in Penn's Landing in Philly, it was a really good dinner. It was at the Revolution House. Have you been there, Matt?
Actually, yeah. My cousins came down last month, and my parents, we took them on a tour, so they were kind of walking around. And we stopped in there. Yeah, the food was decent. It was, it's a nice part of Philly because it's a historic area. We got to go see the Betsy Ross house, and we saw remnants of I guess Ben Franklin's basement.
Franklin's basement.
But there's all kinds of neat things. It's.
They have a theater room down there?
No, just it actually kind of looked like the inside of a tomb, to tell you the truth.
Oh.
It's all this, but nonetheless, they got signs everywhere. You can learn quite a bit if you take the time to read or take a tour. So, but yeah, the Revolution House. I wouldn't go out of my way to go there, but if you're in the area, the food was good, the prices were decent.
I thought the prices were really cheap, actually. I got a sandwich for $10.
And it came fast. And that's, that's one thing I hate about restaurants, when you gotta wait around for a long time. And, okay, it depends on what you're ordering, too. If everybody's ordering steak, it's kind of a given.
Yeah.
But, we just kind of get in, get out, and, I guess the only thing I could think of is they had some unique beers there, where it's like, oh, here's Thomas Jefferson's beer recipe, and here's Ben Franklin's beer recipe that tastes really nasty, but hey, it's from Ben Franklin's. We'll try it out.
It was good. So I got to meet a bunch of people there. As I said earlier about like how somebody heard the name of my new book that I'm working on, across the table and all. But I got to meet a friend of mine or a new person that's now my friend. And we were walking out of the restaurant, and we ended up walking. He had to walk past like where I had my car parked, and we ended up talking for it was probably like 2 hours out, and it was cold too. It was like 50 degrees outside, and I was in like shorts and a t-shirt, so it was kind of cold. But he told me something, and I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I'm a little skeptical, right? So he's like, hey, I think that you should be a street preacher. He's like, you're so animated, and you're just like, you're so passionate, and you seem like such a great guy. He's like, you should be a street preacher. He's like, where we don't collect money because we're not actually preaching, like, I guess, like, legit religion, something. I'm not quite sure how to put it, but I thought it was interesting because I still don't think I don't think that's me.
I don't really see you holding court in a street corner, maybe in a restaurant somewhere, or like an open mic night.
Well, that's here on Facebook Live on Mondays. Come hang out with us on Facebook Live, facebook.com/PardoJoe.
But you standing on top of a milk crate and just like, waving
my arms, waving my arms around.
Maybe it's a one-off thing,
I don't know.
He could get a whole new audience.
And I'm gonna have to have this guy on my show at some point. He lives not too far from here. He lives down in like I think like the Bethesda area in Maryland. So
maybe that's what they do in Maryland. I don't know.
I don't know. But I'm definitely gonna have to have him on the show. We had a really great conversation, and obviously I stood out in the cold, and he stood out in the cold too. Maybe he was trying to touch the mic here.
Get the microphone out of the way.
Should I get this mic? Yeah. No questions, please.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I just thought it was interesting. I was curious what your opinion of that would be for me. I don't plan on soapboxing it anytime soon. That's not digital, but
that's interesting. Obviously the guy's playing you a compliment, and I was trying to think like what the equivalent of the soapbox would be. Would a podcast be today's soapbox? I mean, you are sort of just...
Could be YouTube. I mean, put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there to a bunch of people. I mean, it doesn't have the same kind of visual effect, I guess. Where, again, you stand there waving your arms around and you get the big trench coat. But...
Well, YouTube would. But yeah, it's not... it's hard to make that drama, right? Of like... That drama that you would get being in person. And we're crying now, so I apologize for the crying. I'm trying to get the burps out. So, Matt, the only topic that's left for this week is procrastination. And it looks like we're not going to have time to hit up procrastination again this week. Oh, there we go. We got her.
We got a legitimate reason this time around.
Yeah, we got the petrified look here going on. Sorry, procrastination. We don't have enough time for it. It's quickly becoming our Matt Damon.
It speaks for itself. Yeah.
We don't have enough time for Matt Damon. ever. So stay tuned for After the Jump when I interview Eric Patrick Thomas. It was an absolutely amazing interview talking about like special needs, like for wheelchair accessibility and stuff like that. But like I said, he's a creative entrepreneur who has his own design company, friends with Damon John, and he does a lot of motivational speaking, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. He's also a rapper. So, there's that too. And he's actually, I think he's working on a new album for the first time in a long time. So, yeah. So there's that. So you definitely got to stay tuned for Eric Patrick Thomas. And if you want to donate to Give Kids the World, you should. We've raised over $500 with a commitment to $1,000 in just a couple weeks from now, which is absolutely ridiculous because last year we only raised $600. So we're really looking forward to raising that money for Give Kids the World. If you don't know who they are, go to gktw.org. If you want to donate to them, please use my link, the superjoepardo.com/donate. And it was just like, what was it? Like when we were on there, I was like super, like Super Mario, Joe, like me, and Pardo, like me too. And Ava is just like staring at me right now. She's got this. Yeah, she's like, how do I find out more about these links? I gotta click on them. I gotta click on all the links. That's how viruses happen, right? Yeah. So go to superjoepardo.com/donate to donate to Give Kids the World. Just click the Support Joe link. And Matt, I really appreciate you giving so much money. It was $120. It's absolutely amazing. And so far, I had to donate later this week $100 and some plus dollars. I'm not sure what the final total was, but over $100 myself. And Ava's, look, her mouth is like literally open. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, her mouth was like literally looking at, like her mouth is wide open, and she's just staring at me out of the corners of her eyes. So yes, she can't believe that I'm donating that much, that Mac donated that much, that together we've raised over $500, with soon to be over $1,000. So let's make it happen. Let's get some more money donated for Give Kids the World. And yeah, so this is what it's like to be in our third year. And no signs of slowing down, Matt.
It's only the start, only the beginning.
It really, really is. I'm looking forward to everything that this journey has to offer, and everything that I can create from this. It's like this guy that I play. For all those that don't know, I play roller hockey once a week, and it's like this guy I got to play with. He's really, really good. He's ruined lots of open hockey nights for me because he's just too darn good, and he's like a one-man team. But it's like you said. It's like you don't find the time, you make the time. When I was talking to him in regards to, you can like dance around people, you got the puck, you just seems like nobody can get the puck away from you, and you can skate up and down. He's like, no, he's like, the time isn't there. He's like, I'm creating that time to find somebody else that's open to pass it. And that's what it is. So you gotta make the time. You gotta make it happen, or no one's going to make it happen for you. Yeah. So, Matt, anything else you want to add before we wrap up here?
Nah, Joe, I think we said it all. It's been
not about procrastination, that's for sure.
I don't even bring it up.
Okay. Well, it doesn't exist if we don't talk about it.
Exactly.
All right. Stay tuned, guys, for After the Jump with Eric Patrick Thomas. And we're done. That's it. Ava, I know. Oh, I know, girl. I know. Mwah. You wave bye to the camera? Bye. Oh, she's so sad that we're done. It's all over. I know.